What is up guys, this is Zypha here and welcome back to my channel. So as you can all tell, today's video will be the Q&A video I promised a week ago when I made the announcement to ask for your questions. I did say I would give you guys a week to leave your questions below that video, and after that time had passed, I would be taking in all the questions and answering them for this video. And obviously now the time has arrived and I'm so excited to be making this because, for starters, this is my first Q&A on the channel, but also I really like answering people's questions, so yeah. And also, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all of you watching this right now that have subscribed to me and supported my channel in some way, shape or form. I cannot thank you guys enough for getting me to 50 plus subscribers in just over 2 months. It's just crazy to put to perspective, and as long as you all continue to support my channel and just stay awesome like always, I will continue to pump out the fresh content for you all. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to what the future holds for this channel. And I don't know about you, but I have a feeling we could surpass 100 subscribers by the end of the year, but we'll have to see what happens, I guess. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight to the questions. Now, I just wanted to quickly add that I received 13 questions in total from the announcement, and if you missed the opportunity to leave a question in the comments of that video, then don't worry, I will be sure to make more Q&As in the future, so you will always have another chance to have your questions answered when I make the next ones. So yeah, without wasting any more of your time, we are going to get to the first question, which comes from Crazy23. He says, "Congrats on 50, bro, your channel just grew so fast, lol." And for my question, it's what is your background / culture? Firstly, thank you very much for congratulating me. Honestly, I didn't think either that my channel would grow this fast. Like, he subscribed to me, I think at around 30 subs, I'd say he subscribed to me. He came from, like, I think it was my Rockstar montage. You'd have to correct me on that if I'm wrong, but my channel has just blown up. Like, it's got 50 subs in 2 months, and I know I've already used this word to describe it at the beginning of the video, but it's just crazy. Like, I can't understand how I managed to get 50 subs in only 2 months. Like, that's the fastest sub growth I've ever had on this platform with any of my channels that I've ever had. So yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, getting to his question, what is my background / culture? Nothing amazing, although I feel like some people have different standpoints and they might think, oh, well, actually that's interesting, but because this is just my background, I don't find it very amazing. But I am a white person from the UK, I am British, and I know that can come across as very posh, like, oh, I'm from Britain and all that shit, but yeah, that is where I'm from. And the culture, I don't know if there is a specific culture. I know it does get stereotyped a lot and it's not very accurate, but then it is at the same time. There's a very big culture thing around the UK about red phone boxes, Queen's guards, the Queen as well, just as a person, and then there's just all this stereotypical shit about crumpets and fucking cups of tea, which is just, yeah, it's the kind of shit you would expect from UK stereotypes. I guess that's the culture though, but I guess that's like the stereotypical kind of culture you hear about the UK, even though there aren't a lot of posh people here. You might find a lot of them down south, but this country's just riddled with chavs or waste men or road men, whichever you want to call them. It's pretty fucking cancerous to say the least, but yeah, thanks for the question nonetheless. Next question comes from Aidan Murphy, and he asks, what year did you originally start YouTube? I could get more contextual and get into all the old channels I've had and what they were all called. I'm not going to do that though, because I want this video to be at least 16-15 minutes. I don't want it to be too long. But putting it simply, I started YouTube, I want to say 2014. I would say 2013, but I feel like that might be a bit of a push because that's when my brother made his own channel, because me and my brother used to have a shared channel at the age of 9, and that was like 2013, and we used to make these shitty roleplay videos and stuff like that. I can't even remember half of it because it was so random and immature. It was just weird, to be fair, but I think I officially started my own channel in 2014. I would get into more context, like, you know, about old YouTube names and channels and stuff, but just to put it simply, yeah, I started YouTube in 2014 officially. Thanks for your question nonetheless. Next question comes from Avsvi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I really do apologize if I am. But his question was, what's the thought process of coming up with a new video? Oh, you see, this is a good question. I mean, all of these questions are good, don't get me wrong, but wow, it is hard. The thought process can be very difficult. Obviously, it's easier sometimes than others, because if you've already pre-planned, if that's even a word, you know, if you pre-planned like on a notes app or on pen and paper and you've got a whole list of ideas for videos, I feel like you're already ready to go. You're just sorted basically for a long time. But if you're like I am sometimes, where you run into the problem of not knowing what to post, and you know, it's like a last minute thing, you're like, oh, I haven't posted in ages, what should I make? I need to make a video as soon as possible, but you don't know what to do. That is a big problem for me. me every now and then, and I am, at the minute, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have sort of roughly planned out my content for a little while, so I'm not having that difficulty, but a lot of the time, the thought process, just to make it simpler for you, to answer your question, it's difficult at the best of times. It really depends, though. But yeah, thanks for your question. The next question comes from iCitrusFFA, who asks, what's the best show you have ever watched? I was going to say American Horror Story, but I only liked the first 4 seasons. I feel like after that, it kind of gets lame. Obviously, if there was to be any American Horror Story fans watching this, you might, have different opinions to me. I feel like if, for me to like season 4, it's quite controversial, because a lot of people think that it was just ruined by the ending of it and all that, and a lot of people just prefer the first 3. So I'm not going to say that, but I'd say the best show I've ever watched, hands down, would have to be Stranger Things. If you haven't watched this, guys, by the way, definitely check it out. I don't know how you can't have, it's so popular. If you haven't seen it or never heard of it, you have been living under a rock, honestly. It is just one of the best shows ever to come out of the last decade, and definitely one of my favourites. The next question comes from my younger brother, Spared Hornet 118, who asks, what siege operators would you ban in ranked? Now, for those who don't play Siege, for a bit of context, basically at the beginning of every ranked and unranked game, there is a ban phase where the orange and the blue team can ban a total of 4 operators, and each team obviously can ban an attack and a defense operator. So obviously by the end of the ban phase, 2 attack operators and 2 defense operators maximum can be banned. Now, from this question, I think he's saying that if I was able to choose all 4 operators that I would want to ban in a ranked game, which ones I would ban. The 2 attack operators I would ban. I'm not going to get too into the reasons why I'd ban them and all that, because this video will end up being too long. I've had to re-record this video many times because I keep waffling. But the 2 attack operators that I'd ban would be Montang and Ying, and they are very annoying. They are a pain in the ass. I will maybe put the reasons up on screen as to why I'd ban them, but maybe I won't, I don't know. But the 2 defense operators I would ban would be probably Clash and Echo. But yeah, thanks for the question. They're probably the 4 operators that I would ban in ranked or an unranked game. Next question comes from Aaron. I think this is the Tazboy guy. I think he came from my Why Be a Chopper videos. But his question was, could we collab, and if so, what would we collab on? That's the thing. I don't like to collab with people unless I know them well, or if I have a similar interest or similar type of content to them. And if I know someone very well, then obviously I'm more likely to collab with them. I honestly don't know this guy. I'm obviously aware of who he is because he's commented on many of my YBR Chopper and my YBR Shoot Shot videos, but I don't know him well enough to collab with him, like a best mate, for example. So, I mean, if we were to collab in that very rare occasion, it would I don't know what we'd collab on, to be fair. I mean, I make Rainbow Six Siege or gaming content and commentary content. He's made some commentary videos, I think, but his content's a bit all over the place, to be fair, so I don't know if we would. Thanks for the question nonetheless. The next question comes from Zavo, and he asks, what are your ideas for the future with YouTube and careers? And he put in brackets, I know you find that hard to think of, so I thought I'd give a harder question to help you think ahead. There's nothing wrong with a bit of brain exercise every now and then, I obviously appreciate if you give me more complex questions. I'm not saying you can't give me the kind of standard question like, oh, what's your favourite food? But obviously I like that he tried to make it a bit more difficult to answer, so I appreciate that. But my ideas for the future with YouTube would be to just continue posting content, and hopefully, well, my aim is obviously to entertain people and hopefully get big on the platform someday. I'm not saying that will happen. It might not happen in a million years, but it's something I love to do, and I've always aspired to be a YouTuber ever since the age of 7. So yeah, definitely what my ideas off YouTube are just to continue going with it and see where it takes me. Careers though, I honestly don't know. I have no idea as of currently what I want to do job-wise. If we're talking about reality, like in the real world, I don't know what job I want, because it's just not something I've ever really, I've never really thought about it too much, and I don't really know the answer to that yet, so I'd have to see where life takes me and see what job I end up getting. But if I was able to choose a dream job that I wish I could do, it would be to stream or do YouTube, because I think it's so chilled. You can just talk to subscribers, play games, and I just think it's way more fun than all the standard jobs where you have to have a schedule and you have to have an alarm to get up in the morning, and there's so much hassle, I think, behind real jobs, whilst with this you can just chill out and stream and stuff, and I think that's a lot better. So I feel like if I was to choose any job, it would be YouTube or streaming probably. But thanks for the question. Now, the next questions are kind of a bit weird. The first one's not so weird now. These ones come off Frank, one of my channel stalkers. I wish I didn't have to label him as that, but I honestly don't care at this point. Like, I don't know what else to call him other than Frank. So watch TV. He left 2 questions. He actually left 4, but I deleted 2 of them because I did say in my announcement I'd only take 2 questions maximum off each person. But his first question was, who's your favourite siege operator now? Probably Caviera. I think I'm just going to put it simply, it's probably Caviera, and it's because I use her a lot. I don't know why, I just really like her ability and, you know, the stealthiness, I guess, of the operator. I could pop my stats up on screen for the operator, but it's nothing amazing. I've never played since base game, which was obviously 2015 when the game was initially released. I've played only since like 2017 October, but yeah, that's probably the operator I've used the most since I bought any of the operators that I have so far. It's probably the one I've used the most, so yeah, that's probably the answer to that, is Caviera. And his second question, it's a bit weird. How crusty is Erins' scalp? Now, if you don't know who Erin is, basically, that is iCitrus FFA, and, you know, I'm just gonna put it simply, all jokes aside, I have no fucking clue how crusty his scalp is. I mean, for one, what a strange question, but 2, you might as well just ask him. Like, I have no idea. I don't feel his fucking head. I'm not that creepy, so I don't know how crusty his scalp is, so sorry I can't answer that officially. I don't have a clue. You'll have to ask him that one yourself. But anyway, the next question comes from MVP Elliot, and he asks, what's one bit of advice you've been given that has helped you a lot in your life? I have very bad memory. If you don't know this already, I'm pretty bad at remembering stuff, so I don't know how, I don't know if there's like a better piece of advice I've been given that I can't remember. I have had advice off MVP Elliot himself, and obviously the mutual support he gives me is just amazing. It's a real confidence booster, honestly. He's told me things like, you know, keep on the grind, just keep going, and you could get somewhere with your channel, and other things like that, and I honestly really appreciate that. That's really helped motivate me, I feel like, as a content creator. But if you're talking the most, I guess, helpful piece of advice in my life personally, that I can remember, obviously, because my memory's so crap, would probably be off my mum. Now, a lot of you might be like, oh yeah, you got advice off your mum, but around 2017, I want to say, to maybe up to the end of 2019, I've had a real problem with, like, social anxiety and stuff like that, and that being said, it makes me very shy and maybe not as outgoing in social situations. So I feel like so basically, I used to get paranoid very easily. I used to care what people think about me a lot, and the advice she gave me was, you know, don't give a shit what people think about you, just be yourself, and life's too short to care what people think about you, obviously. And that piece of advice has obviously stuck with me ever since she told me it, and it's definitely made me, you know, come a bit out of my shell now. I'm starting to gradually get better social wise, and I'm starting to not give a shit anymore about what people think about me. I don't even know why I went into that kind of mindset, but that was like for a good 2-3 years I started to kind of care too much what people thought. So yeah, that's probably one of the pieces of advice that's helped me most. But thanks for the question. Now the next question comes from ZykXD, and his question was opinions on the next gen consoles. Now I do have similar questions coming up next from Rick, which a bit weird, to be fair. I don't really get on with him too well, so I don't know why he left me questions on my Q&A 2 specifically, which is pure dedication, but I'm not going to hate on him for that. They are questions anyway. But getting to Zyke's question, my opinions on the next-gen consoles, I think it's going to be a real challenge for Xbox and PlayStation to compete, because I've seen PlayStation specs and the features they're bringing out on their new console. It's amazing, honestly. The stuff they're bringing out is pretty high-tech for a console, and Xbox is having to compete with that, and I think Xbox Series X is looking pretty good as well, but the PlayStation, I feel like, has the lead slightly, and that's coming from an Xbox player. Like, I don't play PlayStation. I generally think PlayStation is doing a bit better as of what they've released so far about their new console, but that's my opinions on the next gen consoles. I think they sound really good. I'm obviously going to be more biased and go for the Xbox because that's just what I'm more drawn to. I'm an Xbox player, but I'm obviously hoping to upgrade to PC someday when I can afford it all, because it's very expensive to get a full PC set up, because obviously the specs on PC are so much better than console. But yeah, thanks for the question. Now, the 2 questions that come off Rick, the first one says, what was your lowest point? By that I mean, like, saddened. I've never really had a lowest point in my life yet. I'm saying yet because I've always had a range of happy moments and sad moments. I've never really had the lowest point in my life where I've been seriously depressed or upset about anything as of currently. But I feel like if I could remember, I think the lowest point I've ever had, if I could remember would probably be a first few months in 2019. I think it was about a good 5 or 6 months in 2019 where I was very moody, very hormonal, and a lot of things would get to me. I was easily offended. I was just very moody, and I guess a part of my life where I was just very grumpy for no reason. And obviously I've come out of that now, but I feel like that if that answers your question, that's probably the lowest part of my life I've ever had so far. The lowest point, I guess you could say. I've never really had something seriously bad yet, but I'd be sure to let you guys know if I ever get asked the question in the future, and if that does happen. But his second question was also, do you think the PlayStation 5 is better than the Xbox X series in a way? Like I said to Zyke's question, I think the PlayStation 5 sounds really good, and that's coming from me being an Xbox player. Obviously there's bias to that. I'm obviously more likely to get the Xbox Series X consoles over the PlayStation, but obviously if I was to move to PlayStation, or if I was to become a PlayStation player, I would definitely get the PlayStation 5 because it looks really good, it sounds really good. I will pop up the screenshots up on screen because I'm going to be here for ages reading them all. I guess that answers his question. Obviously, I think Xbox sounds really good with what they're bringing out, like, you know, specs-wise and the features, but then PlayStation 5 is equally just as good, but I feel like it's definitely in the lead. I will also pop up on screen the pictures of the upcoming consoles. There has been 2 leaked ideas for the PlayStation. There's this one, which I think looks really sick for the PlayStation 5, alongside its controller, which I think looks like the cooler design. And then there is also this design, which looks pretty fucking weird, but then at the same time looks kind of cool, I guess. And then obviously there's the Xbox Series X, which I think looks like kind of like a box shape, which is kind of weird, but obviously the specs is what matters most, not exactly entirely the appearance of the console. And then here's the side-by-side picture of the new controllers, and I think the PlayStation 5 controller looks a lot better, in my opinion. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, if you didn't get a chance to have your question answered, don't worry, I will have more videos coming out in the future, more Q&As in future where you can have a chance to have your questions answered then. For those who did have their question answered, hopefully I answered it as best as I could. And obviously if I didn't expand more on my answers, I'm sorry. I don't want to drag this video on too long because I'm already nearly at 20 minutes long. I'll probably try and crop this down as much as I can, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to smash the like button on this video if you enjoyed. Also, subscribe down below if you haven't already, as I'd really appreciate it. It's completely free and it helps the channel out in the long run. But obviously, if you're going to go inactive, please do not subscribe, because there's no point subscribing if you're not going to watch my content. But also remember to click the bell icon right next to the subscribe button to stay notified for every single upload on this channel so you don't miss any of the uploads I post. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for 50 subscribers. And yeah, I shall see you all in the next one. Goodbye.